We are in the second week of Test Realm, and I'll have to say this isn't the biggest Test Realm ever. There's a good amount of things that they're updating here, but there's not a lot for players to go in and test. One of the main things that players have been testing, though, is this new gauntlet. And this gauntlet is called the Liches and Legends Gauntlet. I've ran through this many times at this point. A lot of solo, because in the beginning it was glitched and you could only do it solo. But then I also ran it with 4 players, which was a lot of fun actually. So here is what the gauntlet looks like if you were to buy this or craft it in game and then place it in your house. There is a really nice sound effect, so maybe people think it's worth it because it has a great sound effect here. Let me go and turn up sound effects. That's pretty satisfying. There is like a dice rolling sound effect that plays when you're near it. There's the box art on the outside. So it does look really nice. They put a lot of art into this. A lot of time went into this gauntlet. I'm going to go ahead and go into it so that we can start talking about the actual gameplay of the gauntlet. Okay, so here we are. We're in a Ravenwood dorm room that looks expanded. And Deborah's here. She's the dungeon master. We have Regina playing and Penny as well. And on the outside of this, you can go ahead and see these cards. So you have to pick a character that you want to be. And over here, the bard, Wesley, this is an unlockable character. So I'll go ahead and just show this one if I can. I think I have to talk to Deborah first. Hold up. Let's get this dialogue. Now we can pick our character. This is an unlockable character. You have to complete all 5 of the other characters in order to unlock this one. So there is some incentive there.
Nice.
In order to replay it.
Uses music to defend allies and weaken enemies.
Here's the bard's deck setup. I actually really like this guy because he does have this, which is super nice, a 200 absorb plus 100 blade if whoever you're putting it on, your teammate, has over 50% health. So it is nice. But yeah, you can pick your characters. There's replayability here. You can do it solo. If you do it solo, then you get NPCs that will be with you, because every single time you go in, it has to be 4 players. So if you don't have 4 players, they'll just add players. They'll pick one and try to like round out your team. But this dungeon is really unique because you have to pick a class, and then once you have that class, those are your only cards that are in your deck, and you have no stats. So it's just down to you and your team to synergize and defeat the enemies. I will say that I don't like how weak our characters are, or maybe it's how strong the enemies are, because this gauntlet isn't really difficult. It just takes a while because of how long it takes to kill an enemy. You will see the same animations over and over again from whatever class you're playing or whatever. Even the enemies, I feel like, cast a lot of the same spells because it just takes so many hits to kill an enemy. A lot of the enemies have over 1,000 health. I think most of them have over 1,000. The final boss has like over 2,000. So it's just a lot of damage that you have to do, and we don't have like a ton of damage. The other big draw of this gauntlet that I think is super unique is you can pick your path as you go through. There's 3 options, 3 different times as you go through. The first one, I feel like I've always picked the same one because it gives you a revive in the final fight. And if you don't pick it, then the boss has a revive. So I feel like that's kind of a set pick, is the Seek Revive or Seek Rebirth. That one is the first option. But then the other 2 options I feel like you can kind of pick. I personally, later on when I was doing this, love to pick the run straight through option at the end because it gives you better spells when you fight the boss. And to me, that's just way more fun. I wish there were more spells to start off with because I feel like there's limited options of these characters when you start and you don't do that much damage. But once you get to the end and they upgrade your spell deck and give you fusion spells and stuff, that's fun. I feel like this gauntlet is where fusion spells actually really thrive and shows off the system way better than anything else in PvE that we've seen. I think people are going to have to get used to the Beast Moon style of picking a form and then using that deck for future content. Not all future content. There's still going to be the normal Wiz style where, you know, you put in your own deck and you blade a couple times, use an aura, and then hit. That's still going to be, you know, main storyline content. But I feel like for certain fights, if they want to give us a challenge or make things a little more difficult, they are going to incorporate the, I'm going to call them Beast Moon forms, because this gives us a challenge. It makes you have to play with your teammates more. It's not as easy of content, and it gives KingsIsle way more flexibility to design challenging fights, which I'm actually all for that, because I think we need a switch up, and I'm surprised they did this for a whole gauntlet. But now that I see it, you know, in the game and I've played it, it's actually a lot of fun. So I would get used to this. I know some people don't like it, and if they don't, then I'm guessing they're going to keep this as side content, though there is main content where you have to do this style, which is in Novus. The final fight of Novus is like this, and where else? There was another one. Oh, the battle with Khonsu at the end of Selenopolis. They've done it. So there are times where they're doing these polymorph forms, and they give you special spells and have you do certain things in order to break the polymorph. We're probably going to see more of that. Maybe more of this style where you actually get a pick. Alright, so you guys have seen I'm using the wand that is from this gauntlet. I'll go ahead and show on the screen the full gear set, what it could look like. This wand does have a few different colors. I think it only has 3 colors. So maybe they'll update that for live ROM, but this is what the full gear set looks like if you were to get that. There also is a graph paper reagent that you can turn in at the end of the gauntlet with the gear crafter, and you can just get any piece of gear that you want if you have enough graph paper. So that's another reason to farm this. Then you can get the reagent, and it's pretty much like the pity system of this, where you can get enough reagents and then buy whatever gear that you want that you didn't get dropped. By the way, the gear is the exact same as the last gauntlet that they released, the library gauntlet. So this gear and the forbidden library gear are the same. KingsIsle does not want to upgrade gear for level 170 anymore, it seems. I think we are capped out on 170, so don't expect any gear upgrades until 180, I'm guessing. I think they've said that on a stream, that they're not going to upgrade gear till 180. The other thing I will add is there is a secret boss. I did a whole video on this, so you can go watch that if you want to see how the secret boss fight goes. And there's also a badge. This badge was cake is what I'm using because that's from the secret boss fight. So to get to there, you just don't go to the main boss, you go to the left and there's a door, and then that leads to the secret boss, which is a cake mimic. You can fight that boss, and then you can go fight the main boss, so you can do both in one run. And this boss doesn't really give anything great. I think it just gives TCs. We'll see if they update that to give actual loot. But for now, it just gives TCs and this badge. So overall, is this gauntlet worth it? When this comes out, it's going to be a pack, and those packs are going to be $3.99 each probably. And if you get enough reagents from the pack, then you can craft this and go into the gauntlet whenever you want, just like all the other gauntlet packs that they've had in the past. There also will be an option to just buy this gauntlet for like 40 bucks on the Wiz website. Is this worth $40? It's up to you. It really is. I think you should only buy this if you think that you're going to be the one of your friend group that is going to purchase it, and then you're going to run it with friends. If you want to run it solo, yes, you're going to have to buy it either through the pack or through the website. Only one person in your friend group has to buy the gauntlet for everyone to be able to do it. So keep that in mind. But I think the owner has to go in with other people. For me personally, I'm going to be buying the pack, and then maybe I'll buy enough packs to eventually get enough reagents to craft it, because I feel like this is a gauntlet that I want to have in my house. It is pretty cool, and I do want to run this. I'll probably on live run this enough to unlock the Bard again, and maybe get the Mimic badge, and then I'll call it. I don't really need the gear or anything like that. I don't need the Stitch. I don't care too much about the dice wands. Maybe if they add more colors, if they add like a purple dice, I might go for that. So there you go. That is my review of the new gauntlet. I pretty much talked about everything in this gauntlet, and I would expect them to keep doing things like this. Maybe not gauntlets, but definitely utilizing the different characters and coming up with specialized decks that we can use for encounters with bosses. I think that's just something that they're going to keep doing, and I'm all for it. I honestly think it's a cool mechanic. It makes things more fun for us because it doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter what level you are. You can go in, pick a spell deck, and it really comes down to like your knowledge of those spells and how they interact, which leads for more fun interactions, I think. But that is going to do it for me, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, if you made it all the way through, please leave a like on it. Definitely subscribe for more Wizard videos in the future. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you all next time.